Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We continue our discussion with the application of the maxim in fiqh. A person sold a good to another in Malaysia for deferred payment of 1,000 without specifying the currency. On the settlement date, the buyer makes payment of 1,000 Malaysian ringgits, but the seller insists that he means 1,000 US dollar. In this case, the seller's claim is rejected because the custom of Malaysia is to pay in ringgits, not dollars. The penalty for thief is applicable only if the stolen item is taken from a place of safekeeping. What is considered a place of safekeeping varies from one place and time to another, and the hirs or safekeeping of one commodity may vary from that of another. For example, modern money is most often in an electronic form. A hacker can steal a very large amount of money from a bank or corporation's computer without even physically entering the premises where the computer is located. In this case, the computer with its firewall is considered the heirs of the electronic money. The rights and duties of husbands and wives are partially determined by custom. For example, the amount of household maintenance that a husband is required to spend for his wife is determined by time, place, social class, and etc. Traditional way of offer and acceptance versus modern way of offer and acceptance. And then lastly, what people consider as the price of something is regarded as money. Imam Malik said, if the public were to accept leather as a medium of exchange and turn it into minted money, I would detest or not allow its sale for gold and silver for deferred payment. What he means by that is the leather would no longer be treated as a normal commodity. Rather, the rules of money would apply to it based on the prevalent practice. Okay, now we are at the end of the discussion about al-adah muhakkamah. Now we go to the branches. Branches of the maxim of customs principle. So the contents of this presentation is about al-ma'ruf urfan kal-mashruti shartan, and then at-ta'yin bil-urf kala ta'yin bin-nas. And then we will discuss about categories of custom and then its application. Okay, al-ma'ruf urfan kal-mashruti shartan. It means that a matter recognized by custom is like a contractual stipulation. Okay, a matter recognized by custom is like a contractual stipulation. The word al-ma'ruf in this context refers to the well-known standard practice among people in their transactions. The word al-mashrut means something stipulated by one or both contracting parties in their contractual agreement to make the contract enforceable. The general meaning of the maxim is that any practice that is prevalent and well recognized among the people in transactions does not need to be specified or mentioned in the contractual agreement. Rather, such an action is treated like a stipulated condition in the contract. For instance, it is understood in a given time and place that the buyer of real estate bears the expenses of transferring the title. He cannot object to being billed for that. by claiming that it was not explicitly mentioned in the sale agreement. Application of the maxim in fiqh. Application 1. A father sent his son to a craftsman to teach him a skill. At the end of the month, a dispute arises between the father and the craftsman. Each demands remuneration from the other. The craftsman requires the father to pay him a fee in return for teaching his son, while the father asks for a fee in consideration of his son's labor. This case should be settled by referring to the prevailing custom. The one whose claim is backed by custom is entitled to the fee. Okay, the one whose claim is backed by custom is entitled to the fee. Application number 2. A sale must have an offer and acceptance to be valid. Some jurists stipulate that the offer and acceptance must be verbal. Most jurists, however, approve the validity of a sale by physical exchange. The buyer puts the good he wants down in front of the seller and hands him the payment, and the seller accepts the payment and hands the good back to the buyer without a word being exchanged between them. Similar to the practice of the offer and acceptance in modern time, that may be by fax, email, or any other means that conveys the meaning. Application number 3. The manager of an endowment fund is entitled to get the fair remuneration, ujrah al-mithl, even though the endower or waqif did not stipulate any fee for him. This is because it is well known that a manager cannot be expected to take the responsibility for managing the waqf property without any fee. Application number 4. The current practice of wadi'ah based on saving accounts is that Islamic banks may give hibah to the depositors at their discretion to attract more clients to deposit their money in Islamic banks. However, if the discretionary act becomes a customary practice among Islamic banks, it is tantamount to a contractual stipulation in the wadi'ah contract. And this is application number 5. It is prohibited to sell something that one does not possess. The classical fiqh view on possession is that it should be physical possession. However, if market custom accepts constructive possession, the buyer can resell the commodity if he has taken constructive possession of it. Now we go to the second branch of legal maxim. At-ta'yin bil-urfi ka-ta'yin bin-nas. It means a matter specified by custom is like a matter specified by the divine text. An-nas refers to the text of Quran and Sunnah of the Prophet, and as term of usul fiqh refers to the word that denotes the divine text, whilst no other word denotes the meaning. This maxim means that a ruling that is derived from valid custom and collective practices of the people would be the same as the ruling that is derived from the explicit divine text. Hence, if people have accepted a certain practice as a customary practice in their transactions, then the practice binds the transacting parties as a condition. Application number 1 for this maxim. If someone is asked to purchase a piece of meat, bread, or a dress, then this wakalah contract or contract of agency is binding if the agent buys a piece of meat or bread that people normally buy or eat, or a dress that people normally buy or wear. However, if the agent buys a type that people do not usually buy, then the agency contract is not binding on the principal. The alimony that needs to be paid by husband is up to the amount which is customary in that society, depending on the couple's financial situation. So for the point number 1 and number 2, it is different, yeah? Different explanation and different point under the application number 1. Now we go to application number 2. It's about the power of attorney to sell in general shall be considered as a sale with customary price. Custom requires that the trustee keeps the trust in a safe and secure place, which is typical for the trust item. Even if one rents a shop in the garment market, it shall not be used for a blacksmith or any job that requires utilization of fire and so on. Instead, the occupation of the lessors should follow customary practices in the market. So that's all for the discussion. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.